Digital analytics organizations are being pushed more and more to show some kind of value, some like actual real value to the organization. And that's not necessarily meaning tied to revenue, which we're going to get to in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I do want to focus in on that specifically, but it's proving value, that there is value to the organization that the team provides. So where I want to start today with this is like, let's start it at the highest level possible. In the context of digital analytics, what is value?
It's such a good question because we rarely ask that question of ourselves. And I think
Exactly,
that,
and that's why I wanted to ask it this week. It's
yeah,
it's 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 a trend, and that's not to cut you off, but to kind of add something to what you just said. Is it's not something we don't ask. That's the problem. Is now that organizations and digital analytics teams are being pushed to show some kind of value to the greater organization. They don't know how because we've never asked like what is the value we provide to the company.
yeah, and again, like I think it seems so obvious. Yeah, this is not a conversation that we have often. It's not a conversation that we're comfortable with, and maybe it's that we don't even realize it's a conversation we should be having because we get so distracted by the fun and new and things that excite us that we don't even stop to think about, well, why am I getting a paycheck? And again, it sounds like a maybe a silly conversation to have, but that's the reality for so many analytics organizations. Is that is kind of where they're at. So why do we have a job? I guess that should be the place to start. And it sounds like such a silly question, but you and I have talked about this times. How many times have we talked to people and we've said something like, and I'll use kind of the most extreme example of this, but there are various gradients of this. Why does your company have a website? And then you see there and look at blank, you see blank faces, and you're like, wait, what? But we just kind of take these things for granted. I get a paycheck. We have a website. We sell products. But do we know why? Why? So I would start there. If I'm analytics manager, if I'm analyst, if I'm implementation architect, why is my company paying me? And if we can't answer that from a value perspective, we have some work to do. And so to answer, I guess, more directly, I mean, I'm guessing it obviously does differ from company to company, but unless you're working, well, even nonprofits have a desire to do stuff, right? Make change, get donations. So there's always something that you're being hired to impact in a positive way. And so we need to understand in each of our roles what it is that we were being hired to impact. And that should be informing a lot of what we do. Because we don't know the answer to that question, because we don't ask that question, what do we do? Well, we do stuff that's fun. We go buy tools. We do implementations. We analyze data that's interesting. But does it align with what we were hired to do? Well, if we don't know why we were hired, then might as well just be throwing darts at a wall. It's going to align just as well.